This is Connected by Heartbeat, and I am Jessica Simpson Taylor. This month of August 2024, we are celebrating friendships connected by Heartbeat. And today I am super duper uber excited to be interviewing the two ladies to my left. Ladies, can you introduce yourselves?
I'm Mary Ann.
And I'm Jean.
And these two ladies are, number one, my mom and her best friend, Miss Mary Ann. So today I get to interview two ladies that have known me longer than I have known myself. Ladies, how long have you been best friends?
Well, we know it's been over 70 years.
And I figured that's all they were going to be willing to admit, is over 70.
Well, we can't admit anymore. It's over 70.
It's over 70.
That could be 71.
Or something else.
Or
right?
something else.
Right. So do you remember the first time that you met or your first encounter?
I have no memory whatsoever of when we first met. We just met.
Really, I do not remember when we first met. I was a classmate of my friend's brother, Michael, and we lived on separate ends of the street. And I was always down visiting.
And do you remember, because I know there were a lot of kids around, as you just said, in that household. Do you remember if there was any one thing that kind of cemented your relationship?
Well, yes and no, but the friendliness, you knew that you were welcome. That's just the that came when you came into the door. They were, oh my God, their hospitality was unbelievable. And Maria and Daddy Mike, even though they were my friend's mother, they was my mother and father too. That was what I call them, Marie and Daddy Mike. And anything you thought you wanted, I don't know where they found it from, but they found it.
That's awesome. And so what kind of, did you have
I
something to
think
share?
that was the heart connection.
Oh. So just connected by heart from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that love that was shared.
Yeah.
So what kind of things did you do together as teenagers? I mean, the parts you can tell.
We just did normal. There was not a lot of things to do. We went to the sock hops. There was that drive-in restaurant. Was it a restaurant?
The McDonald's drive-in restaurants on Avenue D.
Yeah. McDonald's?
Not McDonald's. What was the name?
Right. Yeah.
Not McDonald's, but it was similar to that name.
We went there, and where else was there to go in Fort Pierce when we were teenagers?
Only other place was to the recreation center.
Okay.
That's where they had the sock hops.
Yeah. And we would walk. I'll never forget. Many, many years ago, we were walking to the recreation center, and you had to walk in the road. There wasn't no place else. There wasn't no sidewalks. And some car came along and told us, "Y'all better get your proud behinds out this road." And that did it. That made my day all afternoon. But we would always go to sock hops at the recreation center, and we thoroughly enjoyed it.
Now, I want to know what the response was when they told you to get out of the road.
Oh, you don't.
That's what I want to know.
You don't talk back. You just keep walking.
Because they're jealous. The reason they
Yeah,
say
you just keep walking.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
hey, we couldn't help because
And
we
back
didn't
in the
do it.
day, you better not talk back because
No.
you would get it when you got home.
Okay. So I understand that the two of you shared the love of home ec.
Yes.
Did you do any sewing and stuff back then?
Yes. And when I went to home ec, we did sewing and we also did cooking.
Okay.
Yeah, because the home ec teacher would come to your house to look at your project. If you had a menu, if you were going to fix dinner or fix breakfast, We did, and they came to your house and expected what you did. They came to
Wow.
your house. You didn't just say, I cooked dinner. No. They came to make sure you cooked dinner. The table was set right, that you were serving it on the right side and whatever. They came to your house.
Wow. That's interesting. That's interesting. Did you do any sewing projects together or anything like that?
Not that I remember. I don't know
think
about
we
you.
sold anything. Didn't we make some outfits and an outfit alike one year?
It's possible.
I remember making. I have no idea what it looked like, but I remember our having look-alike outfits that we made because we were in home ec. Now, my sister kept hers all these years. There's no reason for me to keep that one, and you didn't keep yours.
I didn't
Had
keep
we
mine.
only known that this moment would come, we
Really?
had to shut the show in.
Really? Really?
Sure could have.
So, of course, your friendship started way before social media and private telephone lines. So, how did you keep in contact through the years?
Well, through the years, the way we kept in contact, and we missed talking to each other in a number of years, so we call.
We did have telephones.
Right.
We call.
Right. Just not party. At some point, it's no longer a party line.
No, no. But we were friends, and we just could not utter the fact that we didn't hear from each other. And when we didn't hear from each other, well, it was time to find out what was going on with the other party.
Love that. So very intentional about your friendship.
Oh, yes.
We lived down the street from each other. And sometimes when she would come to the house and it was time for her to go, we'd walk down to the corner, probably stand and talk 30 minutes. And sometimes I would walk her across the street to her house. We'd walk on the other side. We'd stand there and talk forever. Then we walk back on my side and we stand there and talk forever. And finally we said, like, yeah, I guess we better go in the house. So she'd go on her way and I would go on my way. We would stand on that corner and talk forever. Nobody ever came to get us.
Nobody.
Where's Mary and G? Oh, they down
on the corner.
I knew we were there till 10 and 11 o'clock some nights.
Just standing there talking.
Nobody bothered us. Nobody passed by. We just stood there. I have no idea what we talked about.
I was going to be my next.
No, we don't know.
On that side and talk, and then come back on.
We have no idea what we were talking about at that time.
It was very important.
But it was important.
It was. I'm sure it was important.
It was important.
Absolutely.
So now that you've known each other for 70 plus years, what would you say you admire most about one another? And Mama, I'll start with you.
Well, first of all, it was just having a good friend that you can tell things to that you couldn't tell anybody else, and sometimes you didn't tell her either. But and Mary Ann was just I guess if I can use the term good, means she was reliable. She told tales for me and I told tales for her. Sometimes, like I know kids do it today, when you wanted to go somewhere, I had to ask her mama and had to ask my mama. So sometimes I would go to her house and say, Miss Rosa, can Mary Ann go to the dance? My mama and daddy said I could go and hadn't even asked mom and daddy. And then it was her turn to come down and tell them that her mom had said she could go, whether we had talked to them or not. But I think it was like her faithfulness, more so than anything else. She didn't go to other people talking about me. We didn't have anybody else that we talked to about each other because she loved me and I loved her. And it was just us. Nobody else came into that circle. It was just Mary Ann and everybody knew that they good friends, I don't know what else they thought about it. But and even now, she's a reliable person, just from the things that she has done through the years, how she's helped people, how she's been there when people needed them. She was just a person that loved to help other people. On the other hand, I wasn't quite like I had a cutoff time, you know. But she just always loved people and loved taking care of.
And Miss Mary Ann?
Well, it's a lot and that I could say about my friend because we were, I would say, if you saw one, you saw the other most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And like she said, there were things that happened in each of our lives that nobody knew but the two of us. And we were very serious about that. As of today, same way. No one but the two of us knows what happened back in the day
Mm-hmm.
because that's the way she and I lived.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was hoping to get some of that today, but I think I won't.
That's the way. That's the way she and I lived, and she, even though she was a little older than I was, but she was always that type of person that kept you laughing and could tell you things that I didn't know, but she knew.
Mm-hmm.
And we went along and we started back and forth going to Melbourne. Out of that relationship, she got engaged and married. And that's what really, when we really split, because she was away and I was here. But let me tell you something. There were several times I popped up at Stones Middle School. What's the name of the school? Because I needed to talk with her. I needed to see her, you know. But we just lived like that. And we cherished our friendship. As of today, we still do. If when my mother passed away, she came and stayed with me for 2 days and 2 nights. And I will never forget it. And if I hear she's sick, if her brother and sister says she's sick, I'm coming, you know. And that's just the way it is. And I always want to know how she's doing, how your father's doing. You know, I always keep in touch with Patsy. I call her, you know, Patsy will tell me, don't know the truth. And so, you know, it's just that way. We are truly friends and we love each other. And I also love her children. Like you said, I knew you before you were born. I knew Brett before he was born. I knew Frederick before he was born. And I have nothing but good things to say about the entire family.
And we love you back.
Now, through the years, I know y'all have talked about having so many different conversations, but is anything, any advice that has stood out in either of your minds, even to this day, that one shared with the other that you've still been able to take along the way?
Other than trust the Lord.
So
We've often said that, well, you know, trust the Lord. Nothing else you
nothing else you could do.
can. He already has it worked out.
That's right. That's right. Got to have that faith, and you got to stay with the Lord. He's always with us, but we're not always with Him.
That's very true. Very true.
And is there any particular decade that stands out in your mind when you think about your friendship? Any time period in your lives, whether it's when you became parents or when you married or raising children or anything that was kind of defining in your friendship through the years?
Well, with me, I had a child, and during that period, my friend was always there. She helped me in a lot of ways. And my oldest daughter, which is Deborah, she also named her Debbie Debbie Do. And that was the decade that I remember that was so touching to me about her.
If you could relive one day of your entire friendship, what day would it be?
I can tell you what day that because this has been on my mind all these years. Mary Ann was having a birthday party. And she called me like, I don't know if it was 1 o'clock in the morning or 12 o'clock in the morning. I don't know. She called me when she shouldn't have called me. Wee hours when you're sleeping, you're waking up, and told me she was having a birthday party. I think about this all the time. I don't know why. She was having a birthday party. And before she hung up the phone, she said, don't forget now, it's, I'm going to say tonight or tomorrow, whatever. But anyway, I just knew it was on Friday. I mean, Saturday night. So I told him, I said, Mary Ann's going to have, he said, oh, okay. I know she's going to have a lot of food because he's looking in. So we were all excited. I went and got a gift and blah, blah, blah. So Saturday we showed up already. So when we got there, I was like, I wonder why no cars are here. Kind of strange. I said, well, maybe they parked over up there. I was coming knocking on the door, but nobody there was Mary Ann. I was like, got that good. She said it was last night. I said, oh, I thought it was tonight. But she still had plenty of ham and stuff left, so, plenty of food left. She said, and this I think is why I think about that often. She said, I told everybody, just wait till my friend comes, because my friend is coming. And I never should. I don't know why that comes to my mind sometimes, and I'm like, that's been a long time ago. I don't know why I thought she said Saturday night. She must have called me Friday morning at 12 o'clock. I don't know, within the wee hours. And I just knew it was on Saturday. I was so excited, and I was so disappointed. And I knew I had disappointed her. She said, I just kept telling everybody, just wait till my friend gets here. And I never showed up.
So you like to relive it so you could show up and be there for her then?
Well, I don't know if I want to. Yeah, I could relive it because I was a whole lot younger then. Let's see if we can relive
a whole lot younger.
A lot younger. But I think about that often, and I just chuckle. I say, she had no business calling me in the wee hours of the morning. No. And whatever time she called me, she said before she hung up now don't forget, and she probably said, don't forget it's tonight. And I don't know what day time it was. I was like, okay. So I don't think I want to relive that one. That's all done now. I messed up and that's over, but I think about that often. It's just funny how that comes to my mind sometimes.
I'm sure it has long been forgiven.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
I ate up enough to forgive.
Either be mad at you for not coming to the party and then it had the nerve to come eat all the food.
You didn't show up, but you ate it.
So what's the funniest or most unexpected thing that you remember that has happened through your years of friendship?
Maybe when you showed up somewhere I wasn't expecting you to be. Maybe at church one time.
Oh, well, church. That's not the good stories. We want the good stories.
Well, we don't have a real good story for that. We really don't have one.
She was at church at one of our meetings or something. I was like, I was surprised.
Yeah, when other than that, But you say it's not the funnest, but there was time that I did show up and she didn't expect me to show up.
Right.
When the church was having different stuff, she didn't expect me to come with my group, and I would show up. She's
I was like, I mean, she should have been there, but being there was a surprise.
Yeah.
So are there any traditions that you have shared through the years? Or routines?
I don't think we've ever gotten together on any particular holiday.
Not that I can think of.
So how long has it been since you haven't lived in the same place?
Oh my God. How long has it been?
Mm-hmm.
It's been over 50 years.
Yeah.
It's been over 50 years.
Yeah.
How would you say that you support one another through different challenges? So many people have a hard time, when maybe someone passes away or their friend has a difficult time. Sometimes they don't know how to approach the situation or what to say. What have you found that's worked
with your relationship too?
Prayer.
And just be there.
Prayer and be there when you can.
Gotta pray.
Yeah.
Gotta give them
Gotta give encouraging words. Yeah.
I like the way you're finishing each other's sentences.
When my husband passed away, I should have expected her to be there, but I didn't. But they were there. They were right here. And that was very, very touching for me. Yeah.
now? I know I've mentioned earlier that I know personally that the two of you have had marriages and children and lived in different places and had these evolutions just of your life, right? Outside of your friendship. How has your relationship evolved over these 70 plus years?
Gotten stronger.
Yeah. I think the absence does make the heart grow. What is the absence makes the heart grow fonder?
Mm-hmm.
Because when you get to see them after you haven't seen them in so long, you'll be like, it's like, oh man, and then that feeling, that heart connection takes over. That you really realize that you really, really love them, in spite of, even though you haven't been around each other, a little contact every now and then, or just knowing she's still alive, just
Very true.
natural.
Very true.
So if you had to speculate, how do you think your relationship would be different if you stayed in the same place? Let's say you both stayed in Fort Pierce all of your lives. How do you think that your friendship would have evolved?
I don't think it would have been.
It wouldn't have been any different.
But the only thing is, we probably would have been closer.
We would have been closer
because we'd probably been living next door to each other.
Yeah.
We would have a chance to interact,
right,
as couples, and we would know more about each other's business, as far as their children. When we leave, we don't know that much about what's going on with their children and the lives of their children. You just don't know what's going on. But we had stayed in Fort Pierce, we'd probably be living by each other by now, or in the same apartment.
Of course. But same, like you say, it would have been. We would have been. We were close, but we would have been closer.
Yeah.
Because we would have been there, seeing each other. Maybe not every day, but every other day, and that would have made us really, really closer.
Probably would have been.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I know with my best friend and I, we are inching towards 50 years of friendship.
And the one thing that I think we both wish that had occurred, that we did not get to raise our children together.
Right.
So how do you feel about that? Have you thought about that through the years?
Yes.
That
I've thought about the things that have happened in her children's lives, that I wasn't aware of, or didn't know anything about. And of course, probably by the time it was over, it was nothing to talk about or to mention, because it's all over. But yeah, you do think about that a lot.
Yeah.
I think
yeah,
that's something that I missed.
Yeah, and I as well, because I would often ask about you, and when you were bringing your children up. I think it was your first child that I had a deep feeling for and was praying. And Frederick is like, I lost track of Brett way back, but you and Frederick I've always, was kind of close to you, or more so because I would always ask about you. I was concerned about what you were doing, how your life was, and that's what friends do. They're not only concerned about the two of us, we're concerned about the family, because we want the best for each other's children.
Yeah. My daughter, I will tell you, Miss Mary Ann, she was very upset at her granny because when I told her that I was doing this interview, and of course we had to delay it. Now, the two of you have been the hardest to sit down for an interview. I said, now the ladies that are retired, the retirees I'm trying to interview are far more busy than anybody else that I know to try to lock y'all down on a date. So my daughter is in school now. However, she really wanted to be here because she was upset with her granny because her granny didn't tell her she had a best friend from elementary school. Oh. And she was highly upset that she didn't know, that she never told. What do you mean she has a best friend? Yeah, what do you mean? You know, she was really hurt. So she was very disappointed that she's not here to meet
You today.
And I told her, I said, well, I told you that a granny's friend came up and brought her daughter when I was in like middle school, I think, when Lydia and I first met. And she said, but you didn't say it was Granny's best friend. You know?
She was upset about that. He was upset about that one. But I do believe it's really important
to actually share these types of relationships with our daughters and with our children, period, right? I know, knowing that how close you and mama are, I wish that I had grown up with Deborah and Lydia, because I would like, wow, then they're best friends, and then we could have been friends, and you know, it's been this whole happy picture, you know. But I do know living in different places and everybody's life is so different and so busy that you don't always connect with children the way you want to. But I do think it's so important in this day and age, especially because on social media, we see so many people not getting along. Reality TV shows that women can't just be friends. There always has to be some disorganization, some angerness, some pettiness, misery. So that's one of the reasons that I really wanted to show this, is to show that this love can last for 70 years. You talked about reaching out to one another, showing up, and being there for one another. Those are intentional things that must be done to retain a relationship, you know? And I think it's good that people hear that and they get to see someone that has been successful at it. Often we don't, you know, we get upset and get mad with one another and we don't know how to get back. So have you all had situations that you had a disagreement that you needed to come back from? And if so, how did you work it out?
I don't even remember having a disagreement.
I don't remember ever getting mad.
I really don't. I don't remember we ever had a disagreement and we got mad and stayed away from each other. I don't remember.
We had one, I would have won.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I really did.
I can't think of
that. We got mad with each other. Not one thing can I think of.
Is there any one thing in your friendship that people will be surprised to know?
If they knew. But they'll never know.
They wouldn't be surprised. They'd be shocked to pieces. None.
I think that was the best answer ever. So before I let the two of you go today, I would love if you would share some of your wisdom to the people that are listening, that they may not either know how to make a friend or know how to retain a relationship with a friend, or just some great advice that you would give about friendship.
I think as in a relationship, the first thing that you have to do is be yourself. Not put on airs, not worry about what the next person thinks or says or does. You have to be yourself. That's the only way you can be real. Be who you are. Now, if you need something corrected, and often we don't think we do, you know, we all think we're perfect. But sometimes somebody can give you a good piece of advice. And it doesn't have to be an older person. Sometimes your peers have good advice. The only thing is be smart enough to listen and follow good advice. And you know when advice is good and when it's not. We all know that. Follow good advice. Follow your heart.
Well, I don't have anything much to add, no more than what Jean said, because when you follow your heart, you will never go wrong. Because somewhere in the back of your mind, God is always speaking to you. And you have to be a good listener and be able to accept what is received. And so you can go forth and do what you're supposed to do. But most of the time, most of us, we think that we're too old to learn. We are never too old to have a listening ear. And when we get where we think that we're too old or too young to learn, well, you're just disrupting your life because of the fact that there's always more to learn in this world. And if you want a good friend, you have to show yourself friendly. You know, if you don't show yourself friendly and you like standoffish, you'll never have a good friend. But if you come together and talk and each other find out a little bit about yourselves, like they say, you got to know yourself first, that you will be able to continue that friendship because of the fact that you have opened up to this other person. You've shown yourself friendly. You've shown them that you have so much love to give and you want to share it with them. And that's what it's all about.
Thank you, ladies, very much.
Now, trust is a very important part of friendship. But people, even when they're dating, they don't know when to trust someone, when to get a little bit more vulnerable or transparent with someone. How do you know, or how do you test or know when a friendship is really true?
You
Well,
tell them something you don't want anybody to know, and if they tell it, and forget that one.
forget that one. Same,
Because you don't
same
want a
thing.
friend, because it's not a friend.
It's
It'll
not.
be a tattletale.
That's right.
So if you tell somebody something that nobody else needs to know but the two of them, and they tell it, cut them loose.
Cut them loose.
You know she's not going to be a faithful friend.
That's right. That's right. Because a friend is not going to tell what you tell them to anyone. Anyone. You know, it'll be with you until God call you home.
So nothing y'all want to share with friends?
No, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
No. After she told me we didn't have back porches, I didn't need to share anything. They didn't have a back porch, and we didn't have a back porch.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No.
So it was left on the front porch then. I'm so excited to have met you ladies today. It has been wonderful sitting down chatting with them again. Thank you, Miss Mary Ann and Miss Jean, for stopping in and having a chat with me today.
Thank you so much.
Setting aside some of your busy schedule to fit me in so that we could do this interview.
That we actually made it in the month of August.
Thank God.
Yeah. I think we've been trying for a couple of months to have this interview.
Start taking care of someone until you got it.
I appreciate it.
I'll stop.
There you'll go again. All right. Well, thank you all, and I really appreciate it. It has been wonderful sitting down chatting with them. Thank you for joining Connected by Heartbeat. I hope there was something that these ladies shared today that would help you be more intentional about your friendships, to help you be better connected, and to help, as we always try to do, help the world have a more emotionally enriched life.